According to the National Conference of State Legislators, there is a 10-cent minimum tax on recycled paper and plastic bags in California. If you listen to me, I will inform you on what this sales tax is actually going to be put towards. You should listen to me because this tax is actually imposed in the city in which I live, and I know about the proposition that imposes it. In this speech, I will inform you on what Proposition 65 actually is. There are three main concepts regarding Proposition 65. First, we will talk about the background of Proposition 65 and what exactly it is. Second, I will talk to you about who controls the money made from these sales taxes. And third, I will talk about what the money made from these sales taxes will actually be put towards. To begin our analysis of Proposition 65, I'd like to talk to you about the background of the proposition. Proposition 65 is a dedication of revenue made from disposable bag sales to wildlife conservation funds. Proposition 65 was created by the big bag companies, or the companies that produce plastic bags and distribute them to local businesses. Val Zavala, a KCET news anchor, reported in 2016 that the big bag companies created Proposition 65 to cancel out Proposition 67. Proposition 67 is the belief that plastic bags should no longer be used in general and should be just completely eliminated from grocery stores. The creators of Proposition 65 believe that their proposition is better than Proposition 67 because Proposition 67 doesn't actually do anything for the environmental issues that exist today. But Proposition 65 believes that the money that the local businesses are making off these sales taxes shouldn't be kept for themselves, that instead it should be put into funds that go towards environmental issues to help eliminate them or just better off, to make the environment better off. Proposition 65 is considered an environmental issue because the money made from these sales taxes would be put back into environmental projects. Since we've talked a little bit about the background of Proposition 65, I would now like to tell you who controls the money made off these sales taxes. So first, the local government has control. They collect the money from these small businesses and put it to the wildlife conservation funds. This fund is actually ran by the Wildlife Conservation Board, who has the most control during this process. They then send it over to the Environmental Enhancement and Protection Fund, and even though this fund is the last to actually touch the money, they have the least amount of control because, like I said, the Wildlife Conservation Board has the power to actually decide what the money is going to be put towards. So if they have an environmental project in mind that needs funding, then they will talk to the Environmental Enhancement and Protection Fund to make sure that there's actually enough money to fund these projects, and if it is, then the money will be transferred to that project. Now that we have talked a little bit about who controls the money made, I want to talk to you guys about what the money is going to be put towards. So one of the first things that the money could be put towards is habitat restoration. This includes the cleanup of contaminated areas such as beach cleanup. And during beach cleanups, it's just people that go out and pick up trash that is littered or scattered across the beaches and try to lessen the amount that would then be washed back into the ocean that could potentially put the animals in harm and the environment in general in harm. And according to Cal Matters, Cal Matters, a Sacramento-based journalism venture that has journalists specializing in environmental issues reported in 2016 that the money could also be put towards environmental projects. Some of these projects include litter removal of different places such as streets, freeways, or local parks. And it could also go towards aiding in recycling of reusable materials to make longer-lasting products that are eco-friendly. The money, lastly, could be used towards wildlife conservation funds. These funds would use the money to help save and protect endangered animals. Throughout this speech, I've talked to you about Proposition 65 and what exactly it is. First, we discussed the background of the proposition. Second, we discussed who controls the money made from these sales taxes imposed by the proposition. And third, we discussed what the money made off these sales taxes actually go towards. Throughout this speech, I hope that you now have by listening to this speech, I hope that you now have a better understanding of what this 10-cent minimum sales tax you pay every time you need a recycled paper or plastic bag when you go to the grocery stores is actually being put towards.